as we're sitting here, I got my email. My fanny pack showed up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I fucking can't figure it out.
Sweet.
I got my, I already posted it up, but I got my Iron Rebel sleeve sent today, the new ones. And then Santi had sent me out the new waist trimmer, that wasted fat burner.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that. It's mostly for the waist, but I need it for my glutes. So I'm going to be putting that on my ass tomorrow and my waist. Not in that order. I'll put it on the waist first. And
test the waters a little bit. Sweet. Well, I think we should just fucking give her a go.
Let's just go. Let's just go. So you want to do the intro, or you want me to do the intro?
Oh, I don't really. Oh, fuck. I've been cramping all day. My chest is not good. Oh, just sitting here is a struggle.
Is it fluid enough to see the pec popping?
Oh yeah, I couldn't even. I'd be on the ground if I tried that.
I don't got any cramping, but I'm definitely stiff.
Just both of them, just like sitting here, they're both locking up.
I was trying to get my shit.
There you go.
See, that's the nerd section.
Yeah.
With protection. I was like, oh, that'd be a cool backdrop. Yep. Well, I'm sitting so low on this goddamn desk that all you're seeing is ceiling. Okay, I'll just go.
Yep.
Welcome everybody to the first High Grade podcast. I am Cole Eastfield here with Braden Bentley, IFBB Pro.
Gotta add that in, right?
That needs to be there. It's important. You earned that. I have not yet. So Cole Eastfield, mediocre bodybuilder. Quick, this is our first time, so we're going to stumble around a little bit, but we'll just kind of go over what we're doing. So I'll let Braden go first. So just what have you been up to? What is going on with your off season? What's the plans? Let everyone know what's going on in your world.
Nothing too sexy. Obviously did the Pro Qualifier USAs last December. That was 2020. 2021, I just didn't really have a game plan for a debut show. My big thing is I don't want to do a show just to do a show. So making sure that I'm going to be competitive and actually, achieve the goals that I'm setting out. I needed some time. So we got to work, started laying the groundwork. Just been trying to grow. I got, turning pro now, I get with Classic, you have the weight cap. So for me now, I got 10 more pounds. So 10 pounds of stage weight is
how much do you have though total, like because of when you were last on stage?
So USA's I weighed in, I think weigh-ins I was like 216, 217. It was like 216.8.
And then what's your new cutoff?
230.
So you got,
I mean,
that's a lot of muscle.
13, 14 pounds. That's a lot. So
that's a good place to be though, because you turn pro there and you have tons of room to grow.
Oh yeah.
And you already look, like you belong there in the class, because that's where people get it wrong with classic physique is you're at the top of the weight class and they still look,
right,
small, or they don't look right yet.
Yep.
And that's what you call an open bodybuilder, and you need to keep growing.
And that's where everyone's frame is different, because you like the classic look may not be.
I love the classic look. I'm not it.
Yeah. And for me, like I have no ambitions of, being 6 foot. I'd have to be 310, 320 off season just to be able.
I still want to see it though.
I mean, never say never. But I mean, that's all I'm doing is just trying to add tissue, trying to grow the best I can. Not obviously trying to get fat, but got to get a little bit chubby to add the tissue. So we're just trying to keep food relatively decent. Right now, I'm working on a little bit of a cut. We'll come down 10 more pounds roughly, and then just desensitize and then come back up. But no plans for a show till at least summer of next year.
And I'm just going to bring it up because I know we also opened the gym, so that took up a chunk of time.
That was a big
and you did more on the actual build out, so you definitely put more into that. So that was a little more time, effort, and then you've had a couple setbacks just with like the lymph node crap.
Right. Yeah, I've been sick like 2 or 3 times now, nagging little injuries. So it's never really perfect, but going through it, making the best of it, and
but it does make a difference in progress when you want to do your pro debut. So there's been a couple setbacks.
Yep.
So just bring those up. So
and I'm in no rush.
What else you got going on?
Not much right now. Just like I said, focus on growing, trying to get the clientele going, make sure the gym is running good. For us, that's kind of our baby. So it needs a little. She's an infant. It needs a little bit of attention from time to time, but just trying to focus on all the other aspects of life that kind of go into it, make sure everything's in line, and then working towards that debut when the time does come and when the time's right.
I think early to late next year, or
probably May, June, somewhere in there.
June.
Yeah,
I think that'd be good because we're rocking now. Our off season's rolling now, so I guess I'll touch base where I'm at. So people don't know, me and Braden train together every day. So we're doing pretty much the same stuff as far as eating, training. We're both working with the same coach now, which is Matt Jansen. So we're doing a lot of the same. So it might be a little bit repetitive, but just got done with my competitive season this year. I won the overall at the Chris Cormier Classic in Wisconsin. And then my goal all year was or I should say like last 2 years, because I took 2.5 years off of competing to grow. COVID had a little bit to do with the delay there, but my goal is to win junior nationals. It has been since I got off stage in 2018, where I got my butt handed to me at nationals. So, but I did that. I sought it out. I got the overall at the 2021 junior nationals as well this year. And then now the plan since then, a lot of people want me to go straight to USA's because I had a really good showing. I definitely could be competitive on that stage this year if I wanted to be, but not in a rush either. And people have been hearing this nonstop, but chasing the pro physique, not the pro card. And I'm a firm believer in that as well. So me and Matt had a chat, and we decided that we're going to build the pro physique up for one off season together, and then hit the 2022 USA's, I believe, or a pro qualifier next year. So other than that, I'm busy with family, 3 kids, running the fitness shop, which is, if people don't follow me and don't know what that is, we sell exercise equipment, we sell supplements, we service, we deliver. So there's a lot of things to keep up there since I manage the whole store. So very busy. And then obviously, yes, the gym, we're currently trying to just grow that, get that self-sustainable. And that way we can train there and bust our ass off and have a great off season. So we got the equipment we want. Now it's just kind of solidifying the small things. And, people come, people go. Trying to find the right people. So that's kind of it for me. It's a lot of the same, but off season, I'm slowly building up the calories. I'm still very hungry in between meals. That'll, food will get ramped up regardless, but I got on stage around 232, 233. That was after depletion, all that stuff. And I'm sitting around 250 right now. 252, somewhere in there. I honestly don't remember what I weighed this morning. It was in the 250s though. So weight's already up, but appetite's still really high. But I've been as high as like 280, 290 in the off season. So I have a big appetite, but I don't know what we got planned for that. I think we're chasing more of a look than a number. I've chased a number enough times. I'm okay with that. I don't need to be fat and fluffy. So yeah.
And I mean, this is a whole new approach for you now, because you have been originally you were with Dusty for what, 4 or 5 years?
5 years. Yeah. The first 4 years, we definitely pushed the weight up. I mean, I hit 290 at one point. Not a good looking 290, but I was a strong 290. But I was competing in like the 225, 230. So that's a big drop. Also, I have a hard time with conditioning. Just not overall, like, but the glutes and hamstrings, lower back. I have a hard time getting that in if I get too heavy. I think probably anyone does if you get too heavy. So I'll be curious to see what Matt wants to do this year. I'm a very good listener, and whatever you tell me to do, that's what the hell I'm going to do. So, because there's no point of hiring a coach if you're just going to kind of do half-ass of what you want, what he wants. So I'm all in.
How have you liked Matt's like style and approach versus what you had in the past with Dusty? I'm assuming it's some things are probably similar, but some stuff is probably a little bit different in the way they do things.
Yeah, everyone has their style for sure, but it's obviously there's 6 meals, there's protein, fats, and carbs, and me and Matt have only been working off season now for like 3 weeks, and it's post show rebounds. So there's not a whole lot of changes, but in general, from the first initial switch, the biggest thing I noticed, he just added more fats to my diet. Dusty obviously learned from Chris Aceto, or maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but he learned from Chris Aceto, and they're big on the kind of getting your fats from your meat sources, so whole eggs and steak, and then just loading the carbs from there as high as possible in the off season, and then obviously the reduction there. He would add fats as like a last resource, like we'd get the carbs as high as we could go, and then maybe like throw in some avocado on the chicken meals here and there just to get calories up towards the end of the off season. But Matt initially threw in like mac oil and nut butters and some other stuff. So he definitely does a little bit more fats, which body seems to be responding to just fine. So I'm just interested with the way he dialed me in for the shows. I'm just curious how we're going to do the off season, which is just going to be evolving. So there's going to be more podcast people. So we'll all find out together.
Right. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the process is for you now having Matt with you for the full off season, to see what happens after a year of working with him.
I'm curious too.
Instead of, what do you guys get together 5 days out, 6 days out?
6 days out from the Chris Cormier.
Yeah.
And this is not like no fault to anyone, but like there was like probably a 5 or 6 day lull for where I found out what happened to Dusty to when me and Matt finally, because he was out at the New York Pro with Nick. So like no one's fault. It was just like everyone was kind of like trying to figure out what to do. So I just kept like almost no carbs for like 5 or 6 days. And I probably wasn't in the best spot when Matt picked me up, and he'd probably attest to that. He's like, wow, you're really flat and you're probably not as lean as you should be. So we're not that great of a spot. But I mean, he pulled it around. Like even that was probably my best conditioning. And then 5 weeks later, we blew that one out of the water.
Yeah.
So that was exciting to see. I'm just like, yeah.
Saying that you struggle with conditioning, everyone's going to be like bullshit after this.
I know. I'll post pictures from the 2018 Nationals and then the 2021 Junior Nationals, and there's a big discrepancy in conditioning.
Right.
And my body's a little stubborn, but for whatever reason, what me and Matt did, my body it clicked. It just dropped water. It just dropped fat. It was I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best spot to be though, right? Like you just do, and shit starts happening.
And it happens. Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember I was getting pretty brain dead, but there's a couple times when he like changed stuff, and like I had to like, are you sure? Because I was like adding more food, and I'm like, are you sure? And by like the third time, I think he got probably annoyed with me, and I'm like, okay. I'm just always a little hesitant to like eat more towards the end.
I know, it's especially when it's unconventional and it's new, like it's different. You're not used to doing that. So
all right. Well, that's enough of us.
Yeah.
What's the first? We're going to do some topics. We're going to do some listener questions, and we're going to give you our take on the Chicago Pro coming up, because I believe that one's next weekend, not this weekend, but next.
Yeah.
And then
what are we, Thursday? So 7-8 days.
Yeah, it's not this Saturday. It's the next, I believe. So we'll give you our recap. We'll maybe give you like our top 3 or 4, whatever, for that show. So what do you want to tackle first? What topic? Let's do topics. What do you want to cover?
Well, I have a couple written down before we get to the Q&A. And they were, I think one thing I'd like to touch on first, and just because is our first episode, and a lot of the people watching are obviously our clients, or people who are going to be potential clients. So one thing I've had a lot of questions lately on how to be like an athlete, like what is the coach athlete relationship? What's the expectations of each, how to go through those. So I think that'd be something that we can get into and just kind of dive in, give our 2 cents. Hopefully people see the information.
Right. Let's start here. So say someone reaches out to you.
Yeah.
And they want to do lifestyle, because that's probably more of what we get, or even a contest prep. It doesn't matter. But say they reach out to you. What is the expectations of the client and the expectations of the coach at that point, and how is that going to develop?
I would say the first place to start would be the client, right? The client is typically who is the individual reaching out to the coach. So at that point, like, you should have done some research on who it is that you're reaching out to. Like, you want to make sure that that person is going to be a good fit. Look at potentially some of their past clients or their performance, or, just things that they do. And if they're aligning with where you kind of want to go, like your vision, then that would make sense as somebody that you'd reach out to. So that would be step one. Obviously, if you're a bikini competitor and you're reaching out to a guy who's never coached a bikini athlete, that's probably not the best spot to start. Like, maybe do a little bit of research and try and figure out who it is that you're actually going to, who you're trying to approach. After that, know that the ball is in your court. The coach will never be able to do the work for you, no matter how good they are, whether they are a local guy at a gym, a pro bodybuilder, or a guru coach. A plan is just that. A plan is a plan. It is stuff on paper for you to then follow and execute. The expectation from the coach's side of things is, when that plan is given, I, or the coach, is expecting that is exactly what's being done. And if it's not,
you have questions, to have an open dialogue.
Right. Reach out, try and figure it out. Don't just not do it.
Don't make changes yourself, assuming they're okay, because a lot of times you're just going to try to make it easier.
Yeah.
And there's a reason we wrote it a certain way. We see the big picture. You're seeing just small little chunks that are bothering you, or you want change. So yeah, never change anything on a plan without actually talking to your coach first.
And a lot of times you're making those changes based off emotion. Like, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm angry, I need this. Well, do you?
Yeah.
Or
the coach takes the emotion out of it and gets you where you want to be. But also, like I said, if it's an issue, like just for example, I've had different clients who do different jobs, and one, he'll probably listen to this, but he does concrete. So it's, if he's out in hot weather and you don't know what he does for a job, these are all very important, which so he's gonna have to eat more, he's gonna have to drink more water. It's gonna be a little bit harder for him because he's gonna have to do more. But that being said, also, when you first reach out to us, I'm gonna kind of just take this back a little bit. We send out a client questionnaire that has a lot of these questions already on there. You're gonna fill that out before we send a plan, and that kind of like sets us up to be able to develop the plan properly. And then if we need to, get on a phone call or text back and forth, something, to get that kind of dialed in. And then the biggest thing with the plan is that's like a very educated guess. We're chucking a dart, and then we're going to watch and see what happens for a few weeks, because people expect after the first check-in, you're going to change something again. You're going to change something again. We also may not change anything for 4 weeks because you're progressing and there's no reason to.
Right. And then on the flip side, you have some guys or some girls who will get the plan, never check in, and then just think that like that is the plan. And it's like, no. Like that plan's only good for so long. Like, to be able to adjust and make changes, increase or whatever.
Which I think competitors get that typically, but it's your lifestyle people who don't realize. Typically, like, so every coach does it differently, but if you're working with like me or Braden, we typically have a check-in form. It's once a week. And if you don't check in, I'll send one email to check in on you. and that's it. And that's being generous because I'm not your babysitter.
Yeah. Yeah. And that goes into, the expectation, right?
Yes, that's the expectation.
That's the way we're doing it. And we have this set layout. And I would say, like, just from being in the industry, and you can attest to this too, we don't do anything different, like.
No. So we have a coach, we check in.
Every coach is going to have some form of a check-in template or questions to be asked and answered every week, and pictures, and that's standard if you're trying to make a physique change. Like, you have to be able to give enough information to be able to see and make those changes. If we don't see it or we don't hear from you, and this goes for any coach, there's no way that we can just guess and make a change. It's not productive.
So to sum this up slightly, if you reach out to a coach and you fill everything out and you guys get going, it is your responsibility to check in with your coach. It is not your coach's responsibility to chase you down. You are paying him.
Yeah.
So, so that being said, so just if you're looking to be a good client, make sure you do your check-ins.
Would you go to Walmart? This is like, I thought of this the other day. I was talking with somebody. Would you go to Walmart, spend $150 on groceries, and then leave without them?
It's your fault.
Right? Like, nobody would do that. So if you spend money on a coach and then you don't follow it or you don't check in, like, that's literally what you just did. You just donated
money. You wasted money. Also, don't ask for money back at that point because the coach is doing everything he's supposed to be doing. Right. So, but I guess this is just for anyone who's new or a little bit novice. Just kind of listen to this because this is important. You're not going to annoy your coach too. So if you check in with him and you sent your check in, but he didn't get back to you, almost every coach is going to tell you, or if they haven't, if 24 hours has gone by and they haven't sent you something, just send them something back. They have multiple clients, but also stuff gets lost through the cracks. No one's perfect. But I guarantee they're not just looking at your check-in and laughing. That's not happening. So I've had that happen a few times where clients checked in and then literally 2 weeks later, like 2 or 3 days later, they sent me something going, "Hey, I hadn't heard back from you. Is everything okay?" And I'm just like, "Oh crap." Like, I just completely looked over that. I'm like, please, within 24 hours, send me something. Just, I'm not going to be annoyed. I want to get back to you. It's just whatever, something happened.
It's the way it goes, especially when we're doing multiple clients. We'll open it up, and especially we're doing WhatsApp. So if I open the WhatsApp and then all of a sudden I get caught doing something, that notification's gone. I may forget to look at it. And that I'll have a 2-year-old run up to me while I'm like trying to do client shit, and then they'll want milk, and then whatever stuff gets out of hand. But so yeah, that's it. So you're responsible for checking in. If you don't hear back, please always reach back out to your coach. And this is just a couple of things just to make life easier. Because we've gotten a lot of this lately, whether it was our clients or someone else had brought it up. But you're not going to annoy us. So if you have questions, if we didn't get back to you, et cetera, always reach back out to the coach, because I guarantee they're not doing it on purpose. Yeah. And then just, take your goals, whatever they are, and that's your responsibility, effort and the day-to-day stuff. That is always on the client, on the athlete, so as an athlete, I'm not expecting a whole lot, I guess, technically out of my coach, because all I need is a plan. That's it. It's all I need. The plan.
You have the plan, you execute it.
Yep. I'll take care of the rest. That should be the mindset.
And honestly, that probably goes back into if you are a little needy and you need a little bit extra help, it's finding the coach that can actually provide that, because not every coach is going to be like that. Yeah. So like, if you literally need me to cook your food and like take you through a workout every day, I'm just not your coach. I don't have time for that. But if you just need a plan and you're going to execute, and we're going to, like a kind of like a machine, that's what I like to work with, because that's really between running a job and a full-time job, full-time parent, blah, blah, blah. I don't got time to be babysitting people and chasing them around. So you just got to find a coach that's going to match up with your lifestyle as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Enough on that topic.
You want to go over?
we had some written down. I don't have the paper though. You do. What else? What else do we have?
So we have Chicago Pro. We have some Q&As. We already went through off season. We kind of touched on junior nats, but I feel like you've talked about that a good amount. But
yeah, junior nationals. Yeah, I mean, we'll skip that.
Yeah.
I mean, how long have we been going? Did it say?
I don't even know how to know.
So we're super green at this. So anyways, let's just go to a Q&A. That'll be our one topic for today, because we went over that pretty heavily.
And
This is the first one, so we talked about us a little bit more than we probably needed to. So let's do this with the listener questions. I'll ask you one, you answer, and then I'll concur, and then we'll go back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start from the first one. Mr. No Chill, he's a part of the gym. What keeps you both motivated on a day-to-day basis?
I haven't reached my goals yet. You know, that's like the short, simple answer. But I mean, that's it though. The work's not done. You know, the work will never be done. That's the beautiful part about bodybuilding. But you know, I set a goal day one in 2017, and it was a outlandish, laughable goal. But every year I've gotten closer and closer and closer to that goal. So we're not there yet. So that's it.
Let everyone know, what's the outlandish goal.
Outlandish goal is to be top 10 at the O. You know, I'm not Chris. I'm not going to win that shit. But I think if I bust my ass hard enough, that's where ideally I'd like to end up. You know, I think that's everybody's goal. But
no, you need those. You need those.
Yep.
That's what keeps you motivated then.
Right. That's it.
Is to reach that goal of one day. Anything like short term that keeps you motivated?
I usually try to have like training goals. Like we just set up a new training block. So I have goals for these next 10 to 12 weeks, more so in the terms of like numbers that I want to get to. I'll even sometimes along with that, I'll have like a weight goal. For me, I have to kind of keep my weight in check a little bit. Just obviously with having the cutoff, I can't get to 280 and then somehow make 230. So it's just kind of like, you know, little weight goals. Like I want to solidify 255 and then solidify 260 and little things like that. I usually will always keep some of those little goals, you know, here and there, but it's usually based around training. You know, there's no food motivation. It's just you do the shit. But usually training, I'll create some strength goals.
Yeah, that's why I like to do for short-term goals. Is almost like turn into like a mini power lifter in the off season, and like I'm gonna deadlift this, I'm gonna squat this. That's a good way to stay motivated in the off season. Obviously, prep's a whole nother beast. There's no lack of motivation during prep because you're getting on stage in a little thong and everyone's gonna see you naked. That's motivation enough for anybody. But for me, what keeps me motivated to a day-to-day basis? I'm pretty stubborn and I've lost a lot of shows. So to be honest, I just don't want to lose ever again. So that's extremely motivating on its own. Obviously I'm just going to throw out my outlandish goal just because everyone probably has one. The outlandish goal of mine, honestly, was just to be able to make a living from weight training and bodybuilding, to be in this industry and to make a living. That was my like outlandish goal, at least what I thought. I never really followed. I followed like competing, but I never really wanted to compete myself. I just more along the lines wanted to live the lifestyle, and then competing has come more and more now. Obviously, the current goal is to build up that pro physique and get on a pro stage here sooner than later. Obviously need the pro card. I understand that is part of the process. But that is now the current goal, which is what's keeping me extremely motivated in the, what do you want to call that, moderate term? So short term.
Your plan is USA's, right?
USA's. Yeah. So that's like from now till then, that'll keep me plenty motivated. So if you're a competitor, let's just go with competitors because, to be honest, I think it's harder to stay motivated when you're just trying to lose weight just to look better. It is. I mean, at that point, there's more. You just have to have dedication and like have a lifestyle out of it. And then maybe like I'm going to the beach on this day, or I'm going to a wedding on this day. Like that's going to probably be more of their motivation. So it's just picking stuff like that to look good for. But for bodybuilders or competitors of any point, it's picking that next competition, picking that next route. So like 2022 USA's is far away, but if you've done a show ever, it's really not. I mean, we got like, I got 6 to 8 months of off season and we start prep again or something like that.
Yeah.
And to build muscle tissue, like those 6 to 8 months have to be spot on. I can't miss meals. I can't miss training. I can't have poor sleep. None of that stuff. So plenty of motivation there. And then, like I said, short term, just I want to get 600-pound deadlift for 6 with the current style I'm doing it, where I'm setting it down and pausing in between, not tapping and going. So I've done 600 for 8 tap and go. I'd like to get 600 for 6 to 8 with not tapping and going. That's going to be my short-term goal.
Yeah. No, I think like going back to kind of what you were saying with, picking a date. I see so many competitors feeling the pressure to pick like a show, and they feel like they can only pick a show that's 12 weeks out. It's like, no, like you can pick a show that's a
year, 2 years. I picked
I
picked junior nationals in 2018.
Right.
I didn't get to junior nationals to 2021.
Yep.
So, but can you stay motivated for that long a period? That honestly, and anyone knows me, I'm very humble. I'm not arrogant, but I'm not going to lie. The fact that I was able to stay motivated that whole time is why I won.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep.
Simple as that. I added the tissue. We came in spot on. Simple as that.
Yep. Sometimes that's all it is, just do the work for the time, and the result will come.
Consistency and determination.
Well, and a lot of people, they're not quite ready, but they want to compete. So they'll pick a show. They'll do a show, not maybe do all that great, and then they'll pick another show. And instead of actually being
right.
Okay, I need to assess my physique and build it up, they do show after show after show, and they can't make any progress because they're always dying.
Don't get me wrong, because I did that.
Oh yeah, same.
But I learned my lesson. So if you're a current competitor and you're working with a coach and they tell you to hold off, listen to them.
Yeah.
Because you dieting down competing when you have a crap physique is not going to get you to your goals quicker.
Yep.
So if you need to put on size, it could take a year, it could take 5 years.
Yep.
But it's better to take that time now so that way you can get your end goal quicker, because doing a bunch of random shows in between is not going to get you there.
No, and you got to look at it like what are you really going to gain from these shows? If it's not a pro qualifier, if you're not at that, then there's nothing that you gain out of doing a small local show.
I'm going to toss this out there. Hunter Labrada did it right. Granted, he had his dad, which he'll admit to helping him pick shows, but I can't remember exactly. He did like X amount of years before he even did a show of just training. I don't know if it was like 5 years or something. And then he did a show each year, but he picked, he worked his way up. It was like a regional show, a little bit bigger regional show, junior nationals, and then nationals, but he didn't do them all in 1 year. He like did one and then grew, and then did one and then grew. But he also spent the first 5 years to build the base before all that. So look at the way he did it. I'm super impressed. Honestly, that's why I did junior nationals in the first place. Because when I was out there at nationals in 18, that's when he won his, and he kind of had mentioned the route. And I was like, damn, you know what? I keep getting my ass kicked at these pro qualifiers. I need to take one little step back and prove myself, and then I can go.
Yeah. I mean, it was a smart choice, right?
Right. It's turning out okay. So
not bad.
Do you have the questions up, or you just want me to keep
going?
Yeah,
I got the next one. I just got to pick which one I want, because there's one that I keep looking at, and I know it's going to turn into a topic. And I think we're just going to go for it.
I don't care. Well, so let's go there, because if this goes too long, we can just get some of these questions later.
Right. So this is the serious debate.
It's the cream of rice one, isn't it? It's cream of rice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cream of rice, cold or warm?
Okay. First, this is going on YouTube, so leave in the comments if you eat your cream of rice cold or warm.
And I don't mean hot, like not like take it out of the microwave, but like room temperature, lukewarm, or
it's not going to burn your mouth.
Yeah.
But
cold,
I'm team cold. And cold is not room temperature. Cold means is in the fridge like overnight, or in the freezer for like a half hour or whatever, something like that. Like that, it's like an ice cream treat. Like it's delicious.
But it's not.
It is. It's delicious. So I'm just gonna go over my whole ordeal with this, and you can discuss yours, because we already know what team we're on. So when I eat breakfast and I have just cream of rice with nothing added to it, I typically eat it lukewarm. So I'm not gonna lie. That one, I mean, I would throw it in the freezer or the fridge, but you know, at that point, it's just the cream of rice with the added, like, you know, like the blueberry, whatever, from Pride Foods. So that one doesn't bother me, because I'll eat my oatmeal also like lukewarm in the morning with breakfast. But then when I eat my post-workout meal, this is where the magic happens. I make it the night before. I make it very watery, and then I add in the protein powder, and it's like it turns into like a pudding. And then I put the fruit on top, and then I put it in the fridge overnight. That way, when I get to the gym and I take it out of my cooler, it's like a cold pudding or like a cold ice cream treat, depending on how far you froze it. Now, when you're warm and you just got done training, it is magical. It's like having an ice cream treat. So that is my reasoning. I also am weird. I like ice cream over cake. If I were to, like, when I was little, if I had a chocolate bar, I threw it in the freezer. I didn't like warm chocolate. So I definitely have a like an OCD about this anyway. So this isn't like a new thing. This is like life.
Yeah. Sounds like it. It's still the wrong way, but it makes sense. See, I don't do cream of rice right now post workout.
Do you your ice cream warm?
No. But this is cream of rice.
I'm just kidding.
So different. But you get it lukewarm, that nice chocolate raw flavor. It's so good.
I'm not gonna lie, raw chocolate is good.
But
it's just like you're already warm post-workout. You're already sweaty. You're already like hot. That's true. You do it pre-workout. It might be a little bit better. I mean, this is like a personal decision, but I think to myself, if I'm gonna have it post-workout and I'm gonna have it warm, I'm already kind of disgusted with myself. So I just don't think I can do it. Even like in the morning, if I had time, I'd probably put it in the fridge or freezer. If it was that big of a deal. But usually I'm trying to like down it quick. So I just like pull it out, I set it on the table, I eat my steak and eggs, and then I just go right to it. Because
that's
as you know, I'm late for everything. So yeah. I could make it the night before, but I'm already doing so much shit the night before. I don't know how you do it, but I'm gonna take this far left. But I get my supplements already in shaker cups. I get all my Revive pills already laid out for AM and PM. I get so when I say my supplements, like I got my intra workout and ready to go. I got my pre-workout ready to go. I got all my meals in the fridge ready to toss in the cooler. I literally wake up and all I have to do then is do my fasted cardio, take pictures maybe for the coach, and then just cook my breakfast. So I like take my time, like I cook it all fresh and I enjoy my breakfast, and then everything else is just ready to go.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
That's the same. I don't have, especially right now with training clients. I mean, I got my first client at 5:30 a.m. Yeah. So
gotta have your shit right.
4:30, but even then it still doesn't leave enough time. Like when we're gone for the day. Like you and me both, we don't live near the gym, so we
No,
both have
it's
a 20-25 minute drive.
yeah.
So like when I leave, like I bring everything there. I can't just like continually come back and forth. So to get at least 5 meals packed, or at least 4, and all the vitamins, all the supplements, the pre-workout, the intra-workout, shit takes so long.
And you can't miss anything. And if
No.
you're trying to do it in the morning, you're gonna fucking miss shit.
Yep. And every time I do try and do it in the morning, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get up 20 minutes early.
That's when Rio comes to the gym with all your shit.
That's when she brings
Yeah.
me something that I fucked up and forgot.
Yeah. I mean, I'd make all my stuff the night before, and every now and then I'm like, I get to the gym and I'm like on the phone calling Megan. I'm like, hey, so are you coming to Rochester today? Because I forgot this.
Right. Yeah. We can't just zip home quick and get it. We got to catch.
No, it's 25 minutes back home, 25 minutes back to work. So I mean, this is why I said if I could, my dream is just to be a bodybuilder. Wake up, take my time, eat a couple meals, take a nap, eat a couple more meals, go to the gym.
Right.
That would be the life. I know it would probably get boring after a while. I know people probably did it, whatever, but I haven't got to do that. So still a goal.
You got the next one?
I got the next one here. Let me pull it up. I'm just gonna do this one. Luke Pritchard, most successful post-show rebound you've had and why? It says like gear, cheats, aggressive reverse dieting, cardio, etc. I don't know.
You're in it.
I'm in it right now, and I feel like this one's going pretty well. So I'm just gonna say what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
There was an aggressive carb up. At least I thought it was aggressive. Matt might be like, that's normal. But Braden saw it. He was there with me. I had about 20 plus cups of rice in like a little over 24 hours, carbing up for junior nationals. And then obviously we reduced water. There wasn't, I've already had this like, oh, how much like diuretics did you use? Like, I'm like, I like an eighth of a diazide, like a nibble. Like there was nothing there hardly. The work was done. And people saw the pictures from like 5 days out, man, my glutes were diced then. So not a whole lot of work need to be done since I was so depleted. It took a lot of food to get me to carb up. But the only reason I'm mentioning that is once I did add in water, man, like the next morning I was up like 10 pounds just because we had ate so much prior, because I really didn't go off the rails. I did have, what did I have? Oh yeah, we had tacos that night.
And a little thing of ice cream. Like,
yeah, tacos and a little thing of ice cream, and that was it. And then we went back and went to sleep. I was still up 10 pounds.
Speaking of our post-show meal, right? So I got not really scolded, but I got called out for not cheating hard enough after your show.
Well,
like Matt was basically like, you guys did not, like, that's not what I expected.
That wasn't good enough. I mean, I had a lot of tacos. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I always have this fear of feeling like shit.
Yeah, same.
And
I always have these grand ideas. Like in Arizona, we had all the shit planned. We did some of it, but then I was so sick afterwards that
the carb up is usually enough, and then I'm sick of food. Before the carb up, man, my brain's going nuts. I'm like, oh, I'm eat this, blah blah, and then the show gets done, and I just want freaking something cold and refreshing because I'm dehydrated as hell. Back to the question though. So right now, I'm only taking a little bit of test. So far as the gear goes, that's it. And then I'm doing one cheat meal a week. Cheat meal. I like to call it a family meal. I let the kids pick. But so I won't put any limitations on that meal. I'll eat as much as I want. I'll eat whatever I want. I try to keep still like a protein, fat, carb. Like if I'm gonna eat a pizza, which I did for one of them, I ate a whole large pizza, had a bunch of ice cream and cookies, and then but I still had a protein shake with it because just to bodybuilder, whatever. Had to get my protein. But then Oh shit, my one mic went dead.
It sounds different.
It sounds different. Does it sound okay?
It sounds fine.
I'm gonna put the other one in. Switch. Is it gonna connect? Fucking up. Oh,
Here we go.
there we go. All right. I knew I was gonna have to do that eventually. Doing the 1 cheat a week, but the actual nutrition itself, it was very low because I got up to almost, what was it, 250 post show within like a few days. My body just wanted to grow. I wasn't even eating that bad. I was doing like 2 bodybuilder meals and 2 whatever meals for like the first 2 days after the show. And then I went back to the normal 6 meals with 1 cheat a week. But I was still 250. So we dropped everything down a bit and got myself back down to about 240. And then now we're building back up, and now I'm back up to about 250. But the overall, like I said, diet itself is fairly low for me. I want to say it's like under 400 carbs a day, closer to 3 probably. And what else did it say? Cardio. Cardio's at 30 minutes every morning. I usually go for a walk outside, but I wear my Fitbit to make sure I keep my heart rate up and I'm getting the proper distance and steps. So I am monitoring that. But as long as Matt's okay with the pictures, I'm probably gonna keep that as my cardio. I try not to do like the step mill in the off season if I don't have to, just because it is a little bit harder on the body, and I want to push progress in the gym, not progress with cardio. So I'm going to try to stick with bike, treadmill, or a walk outside if it's nice. But yeah, that's where I'm at. How about you? What's your?
Really,
I mean, I saw the one after Arizona, so
yeah, I mean that was probably my best. I mean, I always feel like your best rebound comes after your best show. You know,
yeah.
like you're in the best spot, so you make the best progress afterwards. But that literally is the exact same thing that I did after Arizona. You know, we kept some tests for probably 8 to 10 weeks, where I was actually trying to, progressively grow before we came off and just chilled out for a little bit. But
yeah, it's just test. It's not test.
just tests. I didn't add anything else. The dose was the same that I had done in prep. That way it's, it's no different. You're not going to go from 700 to 1400 after the show and think you're going to magically just grow tissue. Like,
or add 50 compounds and just all of a sudden blow up and be Ronnie Coleman. Yeah,
and like for the last show for USA's, I worked with Andrew Vu. That was like the first time I worked with like a coach. Before that it was people I knew, competitors and stuff like that, like Brett. So that was the first time I had somebody like take a rebound seriously and actually like, give me the plan and tell me what to do.
Do a proper one.
Follow up. So, I mean, we kept food was pretty low for a while. We slowly ramped up, kept cardio in every day. I mean, I probably looked better a week and a half after the show than I did there, just with being stupid full. And I stayed lean.
I didn't, man. Those cheat meals went straight to my ass.
Oh, dude, my glutes got harder after USA's.
No, not me.
We'll see what happens next time. But
I look good from the front, man, but my glutes definitely a little softer now. But yeah, everyone's got their thing. Like everyone's got what happens, Yeah, but you were pretty depleted, so I thought you looked a little bit better afterwards as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's just keep moving on. Shoot one.
Let's get Taston's out of the way. Taston, thank you for this one because this is a good one. And thank you for the intro, by the way. Just for fun, if you were in a superhero movie, which superhero would you want to play? And who would be the main villain of that movie? Also, who would cast it?
I got to go first, motherfucker.
Of course. This is your round, man.
I know. Superhero movie. God. I mean, I'm gonna try to keep this to like what people know, like DC or Marvel. I wish I would have read these questions ahead of time and maybe prompt myself for this one. But if I had to pick one superhero, let's say Marvel, I'm gonna go Thor, God of Thunder. not the fat version, the fit version. So people who watch the movies will know what I mean. And then what else did it say? Which superhero you want to play, and then who would the main villain of that movie?
So if you can basically take any villain,
I can take any villain,
any Marvel movie, and you can create your own movie.
Can I take a villain from DC and fight him in Marvel? Is that okay? Or are we just doing
Batman?
I'm gonna keep it all Marvel.
Okay.
But now I'm trying to think of like the coolest villain. I also kind of want to like to be people that they know, because I could definitely throw some villains on. Everyone's like, whoa, who the hell's that?
Right.
Let's just say, just because everyone probably knows who he is after the movies, Thanos, because Thanos is he thinks he's right. He's trying to reduce half the population. That's that whole click thing, snaps his fingers, half of the population, half of everyone gone. That's a pretty good villain. But the even better part of it is that he thinks that's justifiable because he's helping the other half not be overpopulated. So in his mind, he's a hero. So we'll go with him, but then I have to pick who plays him.
Yeah, like who would cast the? Well, I guess it says who would cast the villain.
Yeah, who would play it? Pick a person who would play the villain.
Right.
Now who's a Thanos type character? God, I don't know. Thanos. These are hard questions. Like at least Thanos is a cool villain. So anyone I choose, they're gonna be like, yes. Should I pick someone local, or should I pick like an actual bodybuilder?
You can pick. You have free reign, man.
I know. I'm trying to narrow this down in my brain. I don't want to stick on this too long. But if I'm thinking Thanos big, I'm thinking a big body. But I'm gonna go Ryan Fulton, because he's big, but he's local.
So Ryan, if you're listening, you have to start
Thanos. And I'm gonna. It's just gonna be like in Infinity Wars. Thor takes a giant axe to Thanos's head. So, it goes in his chest. I can't fuck that up. It goes in his chest.
Pretty sure he cuts his head off.
Either way, Thor wins.
All right, that's a solid one. Mine's not going to make any sense because I'm not a superhero guy, and I also don't know who celebrities are, but I'm going to roll with it. So, if
just
I were
go with the generic Superman or Batman,
I can't do it.
I love it when people pick those, because I'm like, they don't actually like watch this stuff. See, everyone knows who they are.
When I think of it, the first thing that comes to my mind is Deadpool.
Deadpool's a great one
because he's not really.
He's also an anti-hero.
Right. That's why I like him. So he goes against. So I'm picking something in the middle here. So I have an anti-hero, and my villain. Oh man, I can only think of one. So
just say it then. Go for
Joker.
It. There you go.
Joker's
That's definitely not in the same universe.
No,
Joker's DC for sure.
They're gonna find
who's gonna play the Joker though? And then which Joker? Which version? Are we talking Jared Leto Joker, or are we talking Heath Ledger Joker?
Ledger.
Two very different Jokers.
Yeah. Ledger Joker, and he might as well just come back to life and play it because he's the only one that played that well. So
we'll pick someone else though. Pick like an actual bodybuilder.
A bodybuilder to play.
I want to hear who. Yeah.
Oh man.
Or someone local. Anyone. I'm
trying to think somebody who's like that, like so.
I know that's the hard part, but
oh man, I have no idea. I don't know who would play it.
Good enough, because we'll just.
So if anybody wants to play the Joker in my movie, just leave a comment in the
leave a comment.
I'll pick one next week.
Good enough. Okay. Worst prep for a show. What would you have done differently?
Worst prep was by far my first prep. I I would have done almost everything differently. But I mean, I was young. I didn't have a coach. I didn't even know what I was doing. Like I literally signed up for a show off of like a dare because I thought I could beat some kid, and I didn't know what bodybuilding was. I didn't know, like, I'm not the guy who grew up watching Jay Cutler and Ronnie. Like, I didn't even know who Jay Cutler was. At that point, when I signed up for a show, I thought it was a quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So
that's embarrassing.
Right. Like I didn't grow up knowing that stuff. So.
You know, you want to know something funny though? If you had told me who's Jay Cutler, I didn't know there was a quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't follow sports.
Yeah. The whole time. Like when I first found out about Jay Cutler, it was super weird for me because then I always knew Jay Cutler from Chicago Bears quarterback. So
like I eventually figured that out. I'm not sport illiterate, but I just don't follow it closely.
Yeah. And that was me kind of like, I didn't know about competing. I didn't even know it was a thing. And so I found out about this stuff, and I was always in the gym. I always played sports. So I figured, hey, screw it, I can do it. And so like I tried researching. I mean, I did my first prep, no joke, from the Arnold Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. Like,
I mean, that's not a bad way, but
that's all we had. Like YouTube.
Also, what year was that?
Like this was like 2014. So like Instagram, I don't even think was really a thing. But
2010, I think Instagram came out roughly.
Yeah. I don't even.
But it wasn't big.
Yeah.
Because I remember the only reason I got Instagram back then was because I heard Frank McGrath had Instagram and he posted shit on there, and like there was no information on him ever. So like that's the only reason I got it.
Well, and even back then there wasn't. You had to get the magazines to get the information. So
yeah.
Just when I figured that out, like I was like 10 weeks out, I got Muscular Development, I got Flex Magazine. Like I had to dive headfirst into it to try and just soak up whatever info I could. And I was already.
And I mean, and now we know that most of the athletes didn't actually even write their shit in those magazines, but
no. That was my first prep, like literally no clue what I was doing. I showed up backstage, and I remember this because it was the Gopher Classic, and Ryan Fulton was competing.
Yeah. Because I was training with him during that time.
So I'm backstage. This is my first show. Like I never went to a show before that. I had no idea of events. Like
he may be the best bodybuilder in Minnesota at that. Well, no, he was the best bodybuilder in Minnesota at that time.
By far. I didn't even have a meal bag. Like I didn't bring shit with me.
A meal bag.
So I'm sitting backstage, and obviously I'm looking at Ryan, who's back there, and he's doing all sorts of shit.
Fucking freak.
Yeah. So I just sat back. I didn't ask him anything. I didn't talk to him. I just sat back and I literally just watched and learned.
Hey, well, what's he gonna do? Okay. I'm gonna do what he's gonna do.
Right. So I did. I did another show 3 weeks later and applied all that shit for those next 3 weeks. Looked like I did another 12-week prep. Like drastically different.
So to bring up Ryan, my first prep wasn't my worst one, but my first prep, Ryan was training at the same gym as me. We weren't training together yet. And I literally just showed him my notebook of what I had all laid out for my prep. And I'm like, hey, look at this. Is there anything in here that's absolutely retarded? And then so he actually helped me, and he went through it and kind of made some changes for me. But I think this is what, honestly, kids nowadays listen to this. It's how I approached it is I had a plan. I already put effort in. And then all I did was just show him what I was going to do and asked if there was something better. But I didn't be like, hey, can you just do my prep and tell me what to do?
Right.
Like, I don't know how many times you get that now, but but my worst one was honestly the next one, just because I then tried to bulk up and I got way too fat and I couldn't get in shape. and that was like my worst placing ever. I got 10th or 11th at a state show. Granted, back then there was 15, 20 guys in the class. But and then I learned my lesson, and then 2012 I came back and I got third in both shows out of 15, 20 people. So I mean, I definitely redeemed myself. But yeah, that prep was just bad because I started off so bad. I got up to like 260. I competed at like 200. So and I didn't have a coach then either. I did have a little bit of help, but yeah, it's just that didn't go well. Your
Moral of
turn.
that,
Do one
like,
more. Pick a good one.
both of us just mentioned Ryan, right? So like for anybody listening outside of town, like find somebody in your area who is much further along and go to them.
Yeah.
Like ask them. They're the ones who do it. They're the ones that have the information that you need. So seek them out if you need help.
If you're listening to this and you've made it this far through our bullshit,
Thank you.
and you are wanting to be a competitor, no offense, but if you're not reaching out to Braden or myself or trying to come to the den, you are missing quite a bit. Because, and this isn't to be cocky, but Braden turned pro, and I'm not too bad myself. For a beginner, someone trying to find information out. So, because I know what I did was I found the biggest dude who was competing and doing well, and kind of he kind of became my mentor. So, and I don't see that much these days. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got a couple kids with me right now that have done that, and dude, they're light years ahead of a lot of people in town now. So, yeah. Anyways, not trying to plug us in the den, but I am. So, if you're in the area, you want to compete, you want to get huge, you definitely should be reaching out to people who are already following that path and have done it. And I'm not saying like, hey, come give us a ton of money for coaching, but dude, just sign up at the den, and get immersed in the atmosphere, ask questions. That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
Your turn or my turn?
I'll get into one. I'll do another one here from Gavin quick.
Okay, this will be the last one. I don't know how long we've gone here, but long enough. I almost have to eat again. And then let's do the Chicago Pro.
Yeah, let's do 127 fits. I actually like his question. So when it comes to training, do you stick to movements that work for you and just focus on progressing with them for an extended period of time, or do you switch things up often?
Oh yeah, it's me. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to dissect this. First of all, I'm gonna go based off of now because when I was younger, I didn't do this. So let's base this off what we're currently doing. I only pick movements that work for me. For instance, I do not put a barbell on my neck and I do not squat it anymore because it does not work for me. So I'm not going to do something that's causing me pain, because what happened was I was barbell squatting a lot, and I have what's it called, Oscar slaughters in my left knee, and it irritated it. It turned into massive patellar tendonitis. I had, whatever. I had pain in that knee though, for which reason, for almost 2 years, and it was awful. I mean, I hobbled upstairs. I literally prayed before sets that it would just hold up. And then I realized that I am stupid and I just need to pick movements that are going to work for me. I don't need to barbell squat. So that's going to be my little tip there. If something's you're doing is causing pain, you're not a pussy. You don't need to squat. There is other movements you can do. And that's the same thing. Flat barbell bench press. I don't do it. It's too risky. It doesn't feel right. It hurts my shoulders. Not trying to be a pussy, because obviously those are two main movements. Now, if you're a kid just starting out, I definitely would have you do them, but that's just because they're great builders, like starting blocks to see where you're at. And then what else? Yeah, and then so after I pick the movements that work for me, I'm going to then take those movements and I'm going to drive them into the ground and ride them as long as I can. We're going to obviously be smart about it, progress in small increments each week. And if you progress in weight, but your form gets worse, I'm sorry to tell you, but you didn't progress. You just actually got worse. So good job. So no, form stays the same, and then you progress off the form, and then you take that as far as you can. Once you've stalled on that movement, I would then pick a different movement that also works for you and kind of start all over. not to confuse people, but sometimes I like to do an A and B as well on certain compound movements. So week 1 might be plate loaded incline for chest, and week 2 might be free weight incline for chest. And then we just alternate it. All that's going to do then is it elongates how far you can progress on the 2. Because if you do 1 for too long, you are going to get stagnant. So we will do that as well. When I say we will, it's because me and Braden train together. So we kind of do the same shit. But yeah, that's how I approach that. I didn't always approach it like that, but I would highly recommend people do that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I try and look at everything in terms of like a block. So whatever I set for my rotation, whatever that is, whether there's A and Bs or whether it's just a regular straight pro split, doesn't matter. I'll set the movements up, and I'm trying to set them up for me. Like what's the weak part? What body part do I need more frequency on? You know, what's lagging and needs to come up? All that matters when it comes to your program. You can't just go lift, you know, generic shit and expect to get a specific result out of a specific body part. You kind of need to set your training up to accommodate that. So if back is a priority for you, then potentially you need increased back frequency.
And this is where training partners become important, but also could be detrimental.
Yeah.
If your training partner has a shitty chest and you have a shitty back, and you're not willing to make a program to kind of help both, and you only want to do one, then someone's getting the shaft on that. So that's where like you have to find a training partner. We both have shitty backsides.
Yep.
So we programmed it for that. But then also every now and then Braden's like, hey, let's try this movement. And I try it and I'm like, I fucking hate this movement.
Yeah.
So we'll pull it. But also he's like mentioned other movements and I'm like, oh, I haven't done that. And I did it. And I was like, oh, wow, that felt great. So it is trying stuff. And then if you have a training partner, is then communicating, because you can't just be following someone else's program blindly if it doesn't match your weak points.
Right. And then, you know, think of the intent of the movement, you know, like what is the movement trying to accomplish? The more you can understand and know the biomechanics and what you're trying to work, it makes picking or changing some of those movements, you know, where it's, hey, maybe we're going to do a squat variation. Well, that allows then for hack squat, barbell squat, Smith squat. So it's just moving a movement pattern, not necessarily just being married to a movement. But if you're beginning, don't necessarily over confuse yourself with that. That's more like as you get advanced and you understand what movements are, and a lot of them are very similar. So you can trade here and there. But otherwise, usually I try and think of things as 12 or 16 weeks where I'm not really trying to deviate. I'm trying to progress. And then at the end of that, we may do something like a deload or a couple of days off. And then we start a new training block, which may be just different volume. It may be some different movements. It may just be changing the order. It doesn't have to just be like a whole new program every 12 weeks.
I'm going to leave you with this bit of information that Luke Sandow had said and resonated with me. Find a movement that works for you. Get as strong as fuck as you can at that movement with good form. Done.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. That's I like that. Every time I heard him say that, I was like, that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. All right. There was another one you wanted to touch on quick, or you want to just cover the Chicago Pro?
Let's just go right to the show.
Okay. There is no.
There's a list.
Do you have a list?
Yeah.
Like a competitor list, like a real one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
So
wait a minute.
I'm just gonna go. I only know. We have Shaban. We have Shaban doing it. We have Hassan doing it. We have Hunter doing it. We have Justin Mackey doing it, and we have Brett Wilkins doing it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh wait, who else? Joe Mackey. Joe Mackey's doing it.
That's right. Yeah. So we got
and I'm going to be completely honest. Who I think is going to win, who's not going to win, and blah blah blah. But the problem is that I'm not trying to offend anyone. So, and they're probably never going to listen to this, so it shouldn't matter. But at the same time, I'm just going based off of what I know and what I've seen. So no hard feelings, people.
we got Hassan Mackey, Joe Mackey, Brett, Hunter, Shaban. Was there anybody else that we know of?
That's all I know at the moment that's competing.
Yeah.
So Rolly Winkler potentially might do this show. He had alluded to it in a post recently, and no offense, he shows up, but
is
if
it?
he's in shape,
there's also Portugal.
yeah, Tampa.
There's Portugal and Tampa, and they're right after each other. So
and Texas, but he had said in 1 week everyone will see what he's doing or something like that in a post, and Chicago's 1 week. So who knows? Let's not throw Rolly in the same, but we do know if he shows up and he's in shape. I'm sorry, guys, but it's going to be really hard to beat Rolly Winkler.
Yeah.
So let's go off of those guys. Let's just give our top three, and which is going to be hard to do, but let's just give our top three.
So I'll go first. I got Hunter taking that one. I don't see anybody else coming with the size and the conditioning that Hunter has, or at least that he had, and I know he's added to that. So
like the combo. So the conditioning,
like when you talk complete
symmetry, the size, he's right.
Some of these other guys, Hassan has the size, but he can't get in shape, so he's not going to win. Shaban, he's been doing good, but it's also his third or fourth show now. I don't think you can continually replicate good showing after good showing after
his last picture. He looked nutty, but I would agree. I
mean, I have Shaban, I think second. I think it's going to end up Hunter, Shaban. It's kind of a crapshoot after that, but I'm pulling for Brett for third. Yeah.
I mean, I just want to see Hunter and Brett both at the Olympia. Is what I'd love to see.
Right.
If people don't know is we're friends with Brett, so we're gonna play that card a little bit.
Yeah. I worked with him for like a year and a half, and so I have to put him in there. But I mean, when I think of it,
slept at my house.
He's coming in at 250 plus or around 250. He's not that tall, and he's fucking shredded.
He's fucking shredded. And if anyone hasn't seen when he guest posed with Nick Walker, because Nick Walker's big, he didn't look tiny next to Nick Walker by any means. He held his own. So I think because that's the only thing I was worried with Brett is how is he going to look next to other competitors because he hasn't done an open show. Also, and I guess before I go forward, so we're just gonna do top three. That's it.
Yeah, might as well. We
okay
5 or 6. So
yeah. So for me, I have Hunter winning as well. But my only concern is Hunter also. I guess in Olympia he got to stand next to some big guys, but like I've never seen him next to a Hassan. I've never seen him next to a Shaban. I've never seen him next to those kind of people. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to hold his own because he beat Ian. He lost to him at the Olympia by 1 spot, but I feel like Ian's a very, very large person. He could beat a Shaban or a Hassan. So going off of that, I'm gonna have Hunter winning. But it's gonna be really curious to see these guys all standing next to each other because in my mind, I feel like Hassan and Shaban are massive, massive people. But I feel like Brett and Hunter are going to hold their own with size. And this is where it comes in is they have much prettier physiques. They can both get really conditioned. So I think it's going to be an interesting show. But I'm going to go Hunter 1. I don't want to pick the same people as you.
That's why I wanted to go first.
Shit. I honestly, Shaban's probably going to be second. And then I'm just going to go. I think they're going to give Hassan third just because of what he's been doing and how he's been placing. And then I'll have Brett fourth just because I don't want to be the same as you. But Brett, I hope you take second. I really do. But I'm going based off those two guys have been just grinding this out. And I feel like they're going to, regardless, I don't feel like Brett can just beat those guys. I feel like he has to really be further ahead than them at this point because they've been competing so long and doing every show. Then to be honest, Joe Mackey looks crazy. I can't remember him in a lineup. I don't know how he looks next to people. So Sorry, Joe. I just don't know where I don't have enough information to place you properly. But
like he's super tall.
he looks crazy. He looks crazy. But when you get people next to each other, so yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go Hunter, Shaban, Hassan, Brett. Brett, I hope you prove me wrong and get second. Or I just want to see you and Hunter battle it out, to be honest.
That'd be great.
And then whoever doesn't win, I want to see you go to the next show and win. But the next show, I think, because we'll cover Tampa in the next podcast, but Tampa is going to have Ian and Kluko, right?
Yeah.
And those two are no joke either. So that's going to be even tougher show.
Guys are going to do Tampa. So
yeah, all these guys will do Tampa. Yeah. So, but those two are, I mean, regardless, no offense to, I mean, if Hunter wins this show, the other guys, I don't know if you're going to be beating Ian. I don't know if you're going to be beating a Kluko at that point. I mean, those guys are top 7 in the Olympia. So it's going to be very difficult for them to take one of those guys out.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show.
I'm excited, though. This is the most excited I've been all year because we have more top competitors than we do have invitations. Yeah. Or what do you want to call it? Your overall win. So there's going to be some people sitting this year out. Who's not making it?
Right.
I know they made the Arnold a qualifier now, but I mean, you got Bonac doing it and other people who are already qualified. No joke. I mean, they have a very good chance at winning it. So there's a good chance that the person that goes there that wins the Arnold is already going to be qualified. So it might not help anyone.
Right. Yeah.
So anyways, that's the first podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for making it all the way to this point. If you did, if anybody did.
Welcome to a look in our minds and the bullshit that we talk about on a daily basis. Because this is pretty much what we do in the gym every morning before we train.
Yes.
So I don't know how you want to end this. Is there anything else you want to cover? Anything else you want to say? You got to plug anything?
I don't think we need to plug much. Rebel. Good clothes, right? Hey, we both got codes. We're both wearing shit. Go buy some good stuff and use our code.
So what we'll do is in the description, we'll put our athlete codes. We'll put anything else that we need to in there. So that stuff. And then this is going to be going on the High Grades Physique YouTube channel. So this is a channel in its infancy. So please subscribe, please share. This is the first one. It's super rough. We're putting this up regardless of how this turns out. So I don't really care.
No editing.
But no editing. We're just throwing this up there for the whole world to see. But we want to make this, get some better topics, get some, not really, those are good questions, but just to keep this rolling, get more questions, eventually bring some other people in on this. To get their point of views, get some banter going. I guess one thing, let's just quick do, just because Fuad is the man of podcasting right now. Team fork or team spoon? What are you?
Depends on the meal. If it has
no. What are you? No, you can. You're on one team.
Can I be team spork?
No, no, it doesn't work.
I would use a spoon more than I would use a fork. So I'll team spoon.
Okay, I'm team fork. And I didn't even know I was team fork until I realized I was sitting down one day. I use a fork for literally everything. Now, that being said, I use the Pride Foods sporks, but I use the fork side more than the spoon side. The only thing I use a spoon for is the cream of rice, but like chicken and rice, because I think that's the main one is what do you eat your chicken and rice with? I eat it with a fork.
Spoon.
Without even thinking about it. It's a fork. I like to jab the chicken pieces and then scoop as much shit onto that as I can and shove it all in. I eat everything like it's a stir fry. I'm the kid at Thanksgiving.
I don't miss any rice at all.
No. Well, I mean, I tilt the bowl and kind of do this at the end and just kind of shovel that shit in. But I'm the kid at Thanksgiving who who puts it all on the plate and then like takes a chunk of turkey and then like dunks it in everything, gets as much shit on a spoon and just like shoving it. That wasn't a good look. But anyway, shoving it down. No one's watching right now anyway.
That's
So this
fat.
doesn't
This
matter.
is just for us.
But that's, it's funny because if you think about it, everyone probably has something they use and they don't even realize it. So,
Oh, yeah.
Was there anything else? There's Team Fork and Team Spoon, and then I feel like there's always something else he asked.
That was the big one. So we also want to know you guys, whether you're Team Fork or Team Spoon. Drop it in
And
the
team cold or rice,
Yep.
team cold cream of rice, or team warm cream of rice.
Yep.
These are very important things.
Yeah, we need to know our audience. You can't just know us. This goes both ways.
We're not on the same side of anything.
No.
And we still are training partners. So we're still friends. So like if you're in Team Spoon, we can still be friends, but like I judge you.
Yeah.
Judge you a lot.
A little bit.
So everyone who watches this, Team Fork or Team Spoon, Team Cold, I can't say it. Team Cream of Rice, cold or warm. Leave it in the comments. Discuss. I don't care. Get crazy. Let us know how you feel.
Fight amongst yourselves if you really want.
Yep. That's it. This is the end of the podcast. We don't know how to sign out, so I'm just gonna say later. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I got to go eat, so I'm out of here.
Yeah, I need food, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Stop recording this. Get rid of this.
Done.
Is it done recording?
I have no idea.
I hope not. I hope this is all in there.
And then it gave me a prompt.